Hey everyone, I'm Ace of Clay and welcome to another sculpting video. If you're new here, I'm a sculptor and every week I make a new sculpture. Today I'm sculpting Edgar Allan Poe. Edgar Allan Poe was one of the most important American writers of the 19th century, known for his macabre tales and often referred to as the father of the detective story. His works delve into mystery, horror, and the darker aspects of human experience. If you're a fan of this channel, you're probably a fan of Edgar Allan Poe just due to the dark nature of his works and of course how famous he is. And I'm so excited to be sculpting him for all of you today. And before we get started, don't forget Series 3 Hidden World trading cards are available right now at aceofclay.com. The entire series features 9 brand new cards and 2 of them are chases. I've also released an exclusive collector's guide so you can check out all the cards that you've acquired from Series 1, 2, and 3, and then on the back there's a quick little synopsis of the Hidden World that kind of brings everything together. So head on over to aceofclay.com and grab this series before it's gone forever. And now without further ado, let's make Edgar Allan Poe. Alright, let's get started. I've got my wooden sculpture bases here. You can get these on my website, aceofclay.com, with or without pre-drilled holes that work with 10 gauge aluminum wire that is also available on aceofclay.com. Now I'm just shaping out Edgar's armature, starting with one side, then mirroring it to create the other, and then wrapping everything together along with a third piece of wire for his neck. This is going to be a stylized depiction of Edgar Allan Poe, so we're not going to take anything too seriously. I'm going to sort of exaggerate his limbs and give him a nice stop motion look and feel. Now we're going to move on to bulking. So that my super sculpty ultralight clay sticks well, I'm going to brush the surface of my armature wire with some Bacon Bond. Now we're going to start shaping out the torso. Once that's looking pretty good, let's get it in the oven. And once it's baked and cooled down, I'm going to start adding my final layer of clay. This is Super Sculpey Original. I want to add it in a nice even sheet over my ultralight, and then we're going to work our way down and sculpt the legs. And even though I didn't show it, I did brush the armature wire with some more Bacon Bond so that my clay sticks perfectly. In my opinion, this is just as effective and way faster than wire wrapping. Once his tall, skinny legs are done, we're going to go ahead and make them look like he's wearing pants by adding some folds and wrinkles with some snakes of clay that I'm blending in with my spoon tool. One thing that I love about my wooden bases is that the holes are big enough where they secure the sculpture, but at the same time you can pull your sculpture out and work on it throughout your process. I'm going to remove a little bit of clay so we can sculpt his shoes. Using my super poker, we're going to add a couple quick details. Once the shoes are done, we're going to finish off the pant legs with flattened snakes of clay, and we're going to blend that top edge in with the rest of the pants so we have a nice clean edge, and then add some wrinkles. And we're going to work our way up to the collar area and give him his signature tie. To create the free hanging parts of his tie, I'm making them out of cos clay so that it stays flexible after it's baked and I don't have to worry about it cracking. Now let's add his vest. Instead of sculpting the entire vest around his chest, I'm only going to add the portion of it that's going to be visible between his future coat. Doing this ensures I'm not going to create too much bulk by layering so many pieces of clay. Now let's finish it off with some buttons. And because this part of his pants is such an open area, I want to add a couple more folds and wrinkles just to add some more details. Now let's finish off his tie. For his coat, I'm going to add this flattened strip of clay to either side of his chest and then blend the outer edge in with the rest of him. For the free-hanging part of his coat, I made it out of cos clay, and then I'm going to blend it into the rest of his body. Now let's finish this off with some more buttons. Now for the lapels. This is bringing me back to my cake topper days when I sculpted a lot of three-piece suits. And look, more buttons. After refining things a little bit, let's go ahead and pre-bake this. And now let's take a break from the body and work on his head. I'm shaping out the skull or underlying structure with some aluminum foil and then covering that in some Super Sculpey Living Dull. I'm going to start by pressing in his eye sockets and getting the features in the correct location. I always like to start with the eyes because I can build the rest of the face around them. Now let's shape out that eyelid. And pop on the lower eyelid and a little bit of an eye bag. Now because this is a stylized depiction of Edgar Allan Poe, I'm not going to translate the photo that I'm looking at literally. I'm going to exaggerate his features and pay close attention to things that really make him look like himself. In my opinion, it's his eyes, nose, and mustache. Now as you can see, I pressed on his brow bone and we're going to blend that in. And we repeated this eye process on the other side. Now for the nose. When you're sculpting a face, you want to make sure that you're looking at that face that you're making from every angle constantly. Don't just focus too much on the front, because then when you go to turn it from the side, it could end up looking like a completely different person. So make sure you are constantly turning that head in your hands. Now let's add his cheekbones. Because his mouth is not a dominant feature on his face, I'm just going to press out a little hole with my spoon tool here, and then the mustache is going to take care of the rest of it for the most part. And of course, we can't forget his chin. It always surprises me what a big difference the chin makes. And we're just refining things a little bit and adding some nasolabial folds. Now for his signature stash. Now I'm going to further refine things with this rubber shaper and smooth things out. And of course, we've got to give him some ears. And before we pre-bake him, I'm just going to brush on some clay softener to remove fingerprints and then add a little bit of a skin texture by tapping the brush on the surface. And he's ready for the oven. Thank you BetterHelp for sponsoring today's video. I have so many things going on with my business right now, it's not even funny, and I'm kind of a one-man show, so doing all of this can get a little overwhelming, but while I'm doing all of that, I do not want to forget about my mental health. Having to deal with so many different things all the time can really take a toll, and that's where BetterHelp can help. BetterHelp makes starting therapy so much easier and less intimidating for a lot of people. BetterHelp lets you have therapy sessions as a phone call, video chat, or even messaging, whatever version of therapy is most comfortable for you. BetterHelp can match you with over 30,000 therapists in their network, based on your needs, preferences, and location, which gives you a wider range of expertise than may be available in your city. To get started, you just fill out a questionnaire to answer some questions about what you're going through. Then, BetterHelp can match you with a therapist to help you, and you'll get your therapist match in most cases within 48 hours. From there, you can schedule therapy sessions at a time that's convenient for you. And for whatever reason, if your therapist is not a perfect match, you can switch therapists with the click of a button in your settings for no additional charge. This is a favorite feature for a lot of people because you don't have to break up with your therapist and start the whole process over again. So if you're like me and you want to continue this year taking better care of your mental health, head on over to betterhelp.com/aceofclay, that's better H-E-L-P, and join over 4 million people who have used BetterHelp to start living a happier, healthier life. Just click the link below in the description box, or again, visit betterhelp.com/aceofclay. Doing so helps support this channel and gets you 10% off your first month of BetterHelp, so you can connect with a therapist and see if it helps. Alright, now let's bend those arms into position and then start sculpting them. I'm going to sculpt them on a cos clay just so I can position them later on if I want. And the arm creation process is pretty straightforward. I just added my clay, I'm smoothing the surface, and I'm going to press in some little folds and wrinkles with my super poker. Now let's repeat that process for the other arm. And we're going to give him a nice little skull to hold, so I'm going to shape that out of my Sculpey here, press out all the details, and then we're going to add it to his hand. Once that hand's done, we're going to make the other one. I just shaped out the palm area, and I'm attaching his fingers individually and blending the base in with the rest of the hand. And we're just going to see what he looks like with his head really quick. Maybe make a couple adjustments, and then we can start working on his hair. Before I add the clay for the hair, I want to brush on some Bacon Bond so it sticks real nice. And then let's start giving him his signature do. To sculpt hair, I like to block out all the major shapes first before I go in and start blending and adding the detail. So here I am just shaping it out, making sure it looks right first, and then we'll go ahead and blend everything together. Now it's time to take my super poker and start adding those details. I'm starting at the hairline and then working my way out. And then since he has curly hair at the ends here, I'm going to create some large gouges with my super poker first, and then I'm going to go in between all of them with some finer lines. Once the hair's done, I'm going to attach it with some Bacon Bond and then clean things up a little bit. And just like that, he's ready for his final bake. And once he's baked and completely cooled down, it's time for paint. All the paints that I'm using for this project are Folk Art brand matte acrylics. I started with his white undershirt, and then now we're going in and painting his entire three-piece suit black. Once my black base is on, I'm going in with a fine paintbrush with some dark gray and highlighting areas here and there. To blend everything together, I'm going in with a quick dry brushing of that same dark gray. Now for the base coat on his skin. Now I'm going in with some watered down dark gray and sort of dry brushing it into his eye sockets. This is kind of weird, but it's been diluted with water and also dabbed almost completely dry. Now I'm going on top of all of that overlap with my original skin tone to blend it better. Using a fine brush, I'm going into all of his little wrinkles with a shade that's a little bit darker than his skin tone. Now for the whites of his eyes. I'm not using pure white straight from the bottle because that would be way too bright. I dulled out the white with a little bit of black and beige. For his eyebrows, I'm using pure black on a fine brush and adding them with short, swift strokes that are all going in the same direction. Now I'm really bringing him to life with his mustache. For his irises, I'm starting with black, and then I'm going to highlight them with some gray, and then add a pupil and a little reflection. I'm starting the skull with a base coat of this nice bone color. Now let's paint the eye sockets black. To bring out those details, I'm adding a black wash, and then I'm going to wipe off the excess with the paper towel, and then once that's dry, I'm going to dry brush some more of that bone color on it. Now for his tiny eye reflections. To add some more dimension to his hair, I'm dry brushing on some dark gray. Now let's paint his super smooth, high quality Ace of Clay sculpture base. All right, you know the drill. Say it with me. And he's done! My sculpt of Edgar Allan Poe is complete. Let me know how you think I did in the comments. I'm honestly surprised that I haven't sculpted this guy sooner. I love him. I loved learning about him in high school. I'm still learning about him now. And he's such an interesting person. And I think he opened the doors for a lot of people in the horror and mystery genres that we know and love today. And I just really hope you like this sculpture. So again, let me know what you think in the comments. And as always, thank you so much for watching and being here. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Check me out on Facebook, Instagram, X, and TikTok at Ace of Clay. Join my Facebook group, Snakes of Clay, and I will see you in the next one. Thanks for watching.